All right, welcome folks. This is 27 Degrees, our angle on Google Workspace. My name is Troy. His name is Rowan. We're your hosts, and we're here to bring you a special look back at Google Next 2021. There were a ton of Google Workspace announcements made at Google Cloud's biggest event of the year, and we want to take a look back now that it's been a couple of weeks and we've had a chance to digest them. And in order to do so, we thought we'd introduce you to some of the amazing team here at SADA that work on Google Workspace alongside Rowan and I. Joining us for a panel discussion looking at all of those Google Next updates around Google Workspace are Chris Botello and Veronica Raulin.
Excellent. Thanks, Troy and Rowan, for having us here today. As was stated, my name is Veronica, and I lead the organizational change management team. Now, what that means here is that our focus on the OCM team is really on the user experience and making sure that whatever the Google solution is, it works great within the organization and is adopted.
Your perspective, Veronica, from a change management angle is going to be really valued when we look at Workspace. I think that's a key part of the cycle that we help our customers with. So thanks for joining. Chris, maybe you could introduce yourself to our viewers and tell them a little bit about your role here.
For sure. Thanks, Troy. Thanks, Rowan. Glad to be here today. My name is Chris Botello. I lead our solution architecture team here at SADA, focused on Google Workspace. So what is solution architecture? We work with our customers to understand their existing environments and how we plan out the technical transition, all the plumbing and nuts and bolts as part of a transition to Workspace.
Awesome. And again, a valuable part of that Workspace evaluation cycle and implementation cycle. Is there any topics that stood out to either of you?
Well, I know for sure there was a very important session on the transition from Google chat rooms into spaces. And I think we're just at the start of that story. The sort of rename has been announced, but it really is an indication of a much wider path of development, lots of new features coming. And I know that Veronica was keen to discuss and unpack some of those announcements and maybe how some of our customers on Workspace today or not using it can take advantage of those.
Absolutely. Let's start there, because in my 4 years of doing Workspace projects, I'd say, at the beginning, everyone was really talking about what does Gmail do for an organization. And then 2 years ago, we really started talking about what do Drive and real-time collaboration do for an organization. And Google is really switching that conversation into what does the chat hub do for an organization. So you've got this screen that they're showing here, which is still a Gmail tab, but you're very little of your time is actually spent in Mail. It's spent on that Spaces tab. And for those of you who aren't using Spaces or aren't familiar with that, it's really a chat platform, so part of Google Chat, that allows for groups and teams to come together, create threaded conversations with both internal and external parties, and they're adding all this extra great features onto it. Well, I know we'll dive into bots, talk about Jira integrations and the security. But what Google is really pushing for is taking that user experience and that team learning and growth and work to the next level. They talked a lot about how many workforces are staying remote or hybrid. And so having those platforms where you can connect with anybody in so many different ways and share files and search for them in one screen, which really is what, I envision a future where all we're doing is kind of working out of Spaces for some of our team collaboration. That's what really kind of stuck out to me. So there's, so many more areas we can go in, but that's where I'll start.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a core tool in bringing the connectedness to the idea of remote or hybrid working. So very easy when you're in person to build strong relationships with people, be connected with them because you're just there in person with them. But how do you replicate that as much as you can or bring that and the value of that when you're working remotely and hybrid? And I think that Spaces, clearly Google is saying a path that's going to be very important in that story.
And Chris, one of the things we talk about with our customers all the time is, well, how do I make sure my data is secure? So the DLP additions to Google Chat really help us ease that conversation as we're talking to folks about all the different ways teams will use the applications.
Absolutely. We're very excited to see DLP coming to chat. This is a beta that's going to be available soon. You're very familiar with DLP from other portions of Workspace. like within Gmail itself. And we're happy to see the extension of that to chat. Another great extension here on the chat platform is an announced opportunity to integrate with Jira, which is another popular platform that we see many of our customers utilizing. So we're really excited about all of these changes to Spaces and Chat.
Two more of my favorite features around the chat are, how someone can, in the future, we got this Spaces, adding those inline chats to a thread. So if you've been using it, like the threading, game changer, but being able to inline inside the thread, it just keeps, with all the conversations we have, just keeps it flowing. And then on the flip side is how many notification options you have to turn on or off. So like we were talking about Jira, to be able to see Jira, notes taken, updates to Jira boards, all of that coming into chat, or to mute that because, it can be overwhelming if you're trying to get something done. So again, how to work really well with communicating and how to shut off that noise when you need to. So I love that notification features are also coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, some of my other kind of favorite updates that we're seeing related to chat and collaboration is definitely around client-side encryption for me, and really extension of a lot of the client-side encryption capabilities across Workspace. We work with many customers who have regulatory and compliance needs around data sovereignty and other controls. This is really a great thing to see Google bringing to the market to help enable those customers' workloads on Workspace.
Yeah, it's one of those features that allows more and more organizations out there to be able to take advantage of the cloud-based tools and what they can bring to an organization. So I love that move. It's great by Google. And I think you can see the theme of security being very prevalent in a lot of these updates and the things that Google are focusing on. And one of the biggest announcements from Next as well was the idea of work safer, and maybe building multiple of the Google security solutions together, but also paired with third-party tools, key partners that Google have picked out that can integrate and provide value to their offerings too. So maybe we could unpack that a little bit and what that might bring to organizations as well.
No, we're definitely excited about the Work Safer initiative and what that's bringing to bear on the market as well. For those of you who haven't heard about Work Safer yet, it's really a combination of Beyond Corp, Chrome Enterprise, Titan security keys, pixels, and some third-party services, including our friends at Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, and Chronicle, that really bring an extra layer of security to Google Workspace. Really protecting employees with zero trust access capabilities, automating and bolstering protections around DLP, even ways to protect your own intellectual property and implement a zero trust software supply chain. So we're really excited to see what this brings and to get it in the hands of customers.
Chris, I have to ask, knowing our customer base and working with them so intimately, does this offering bring to mind unique fits for you? Who do you see this being an appealing offer for?
Sure. Security is top of mind for everyone these days. But we look at some of our customers, particularly in sectors, like government, state and local government, as well as other regulated industries, even some that you might not expect, like, media and entertainment. And their requirements. Really, this is something that a lot of customers can take advantage of, but there's definitely a few top of mind as well.
Now that we've chatted about Work Safer and Google really simplifying that offering for their customer base and making it really security in a more digestible package, wanted to sort of transition to something that's a bit of a technical announcement, but still user focused. And Veronica, I know you have a bit of an opinion on this. AppSheet integration for Gmail. What are your thoughts on that announcement?
What I love about AppSheet is that it's one of those tools where it looks like magic is happening, but there's a technical solution on the back end. Now, as a regular user, I just want to see the magic. And Chris and I talk about this all the time. Let's find those Google applications that are auto magic and teach someone how to do that. But as a user, just make my life easier. And AppSheet integrations, a couple of the options that they talked about really do that. So The example in the session, and definitely check it out. It's a fun 18 minutes on AppSheet. Really look at how once you build those applications, workflows, automations that your team needs, you can put in these amazing steps to just have part of that automation be in Gmail. So if you think about the dynamic email that we've had for a while, right? So Rowan comments me in on a file, he just tags me in, I get it in email, I respond in email, and it real time updates the doc, right? I don't have to touch the doc. That's really what the AppSheet integration allows you to do in Gmail. So you've got an application, there's part of the workflow or the step that needs either validation or input from someone else. It can automagically put that into your email. You respond, you've never left, you didn't have to touch, it didn't feel like you touched the app, and the workflow is complete. And I just think, as a user on the other side of that app, those folks who are building these processes in AppSheet, it's just so simple, and it really brings everyone into the process. And if I don't have to leave a tab to accomplish a goal, I'm a happy user.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to summarize, there's definitely, I see a core focus on security from Google. Many of these updates are along the lines of allowing more organizations to take advantage of Workspace. And also, I think really a focus from Google on providing enterprise grade or enterprise level controls as well at the highest level of organizations. So I think there's a key security focus. I love that Google are continuing to work on spaces, and I'm very excited to see what possibilities come down the line from that with the inline topic threading and the ability for larger communities to operate within spaces. I think that's going to bring some new possibilities for remote working and hybrid working that we've never seen before. And I agree totally, as we've discussed throughout this discussion, that messaging is going to become a key place for work in the future, and perhaps the primary location that we all communicate and collaborate. So I love all of these developments from Google, and I'm very excited to see them continue to accelerate this level of development they're on, which is absolutely insane. The amount of features that they're adding every day now is absolutely crazy. It's difficult for us as people who love the tools to keep up. Never mind the 3 billion users worldwide that use Workspace. So amazing news from Google overall, and can't wait to see what's coming down the line further in security, chat with spaces, and other things too.
Well, Chris and Veronica, really appreciate you joining us for this special look back at Google Next 21, and we'll hope to see you again on 27 Degrees in the future. We'd love to have you back and share your perspective on future episodes.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it for another episode of 27 Degrees, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Rowan and I want to just take a chance to thank Chris and Veronica for coming by the show to join us, and you have to expect them to come back and join us for future episodes. They're amazing resources that we have here at SADA, and we want you to hear from them as well. To stay up to date on all the latest episodes of 27 Degrees, you can go over to sada.com/cloudquarters or check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. We can't wait to see you again in a few weeks when we continue to bring you more of our angle on Google Workspace.